All right, I have been thoroughly greeted by your pup, Boston.
Hey, bud.
But you got such a cute boho style apartment here.
Yeah, thank you. I've been here for about 5 years, and it's really transformed in the last few years since COVID ended, and it just keeps building up like crazy.
When did you start getting into plants? Because you have a nice solid collection here. Nothing overdone, you know?
Yeah. I started collecting probably around 9 years ago. I started with going to IKEA and being like, oh, these are cute succulents, and putting them in like little mason jars with like layers, thinking like, oh, this is very Pinterest cute. And then they all die, and you're like, well, why didn't they survive? And then it's the questioning and exploring why things had success and why they were failures, and that's why I dove deeper in and started my collection.
So why don't you share some of your collection here, because you have obviously like these really big picture windows here, so you could fill in quite a bit of plants, but you have an edited style that I could see.
Yeah, I didn't want it to be too overwhelming. I also have my partner who is not the plant enthusiast, so it had to not feel overwhelming. And so I've kind of strategically placed things out. We kind of have a rule of one in, one out if I get a new one, and I sometimes sneak a few in and see how long it takes them to notice. Sometimes it's faster than I expect, like the day of.
Well, why don't you share some of the plants? I mean, look at this Japuertia, this Calathea. It's huge.
Yeah, it is one of my older plants, actually. I've had it probably for 8 years, 7 or 8 years, and it actually flowered last year.
Yeah, it's
Boston
pretty
Cream.
impressive. Somebody actually just sent me a picture of their rattlesnake plant actually flowering, and I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. It was like kind of whitish.
It was white.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure what it was at first because it looked so alien.
Yeah.
So it was just like coming up, and I was like, is that a flower? And then it started opening, and it would like periodically, gradually go, it would open up with the white spirally as it goes open.
Fantastic. And then here you have a beautiful anthurium back here. It's starting to get pretty woody too.
This is the one I got from Poland. So if you remember Paul, Plant Me
Yeah.
Paul, I had two. And so it was, as it was growing, it was becoming a bit overwhelming in this space. And so I gave one to him. And yeah, it's my only anthurium, and it's done well. I don't do humidifiers.
It looks like it was recently showered though.
Yeah, I've found some thrips going on in this.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's my first go with it.
Yeah.
I have a coelum in the other room. That is where like I first noticed it. I was like, why are you suffering so? And then I just like looked closer like a few days ago, and I was like, no, why are we doing this?
Well, it looks still very healthy, so maybe it will pull through for you.
Yeah, I only noticed a few, and so I was like,
Yeah.
let's get this cleaned up real quick.
Yeah, let's nip it at the bud. And this is gorgeous. Look at this little shelf that you have here, filled with like plants and lovely mementos.
Yeah, I didn't want it to be so overwhelming, both with decor and plants. I wanted everyone to kind of shine. And so I have a lot of like my jungle cactus collection over here, and a bit of philodendrons as well.
So how would you describe your style? Because I love the earthy color palette that you have going here as well.
Yeah.
Even with your garb, look at this.
Had to coordinate.
I know.
Yeah, I would probably say it's a lot of mid-century, some boho. It definitely was heavily boho to begin, and we've kind of shifted a little bit. Definitely maximalist, that's
Yeah.
always been the case, but definitely more mid-century, a little postmodern touches here and there. Got to keep up with the times.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. And look at this. This kind of reminds me of, like, in a good way, my father's tube socks from like the 70s.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I painted this and then another mural in the bathroom. And I did that probably around like the first year we moved in here.
Yeah.
And I was inspired by an account, Banyan Bridges. So she's big on murals, and early on, I took inspiration and I did that.
Amazing. All right, so here we have, front row seat.
Boston, come here.
Boston's tail. But we have front row seat of like some really good sun-loving plants. So take us through some of this collection. I mean, you got some really beautiful specimens, and I appreciate the fact that you are letting them breathe in the house.
I have quite a bit of variations of aloes. Not many that I know all their Latin scientific names. But this one I got from cuttings from my sister. This was one of her only plants that she had when she was living in Ohio. And so I brought back some cuttings when I was pruning hers back. So I have a couple of those in different pots. And then I have our aloe vera, which was a rescue from Scott's office. We actually named it Squidward for obvious reasons. But it started out as just like one of these smaller ones,
Yeah.
and then it's just taken over as we've lived here.
And then you got some guys over here.
Yeah. On the right, I have an agave Kishokan, which actually was I got as pups from James in Austin. He's botanical.
It almost looks as if this one is going totally,
Or the variegation.
variegated.
Yeah, I mean, they usually start out like that if I remember correctly. And
Fascinating.
he actually lost all of his agave, so I have two that I got from him, two variations. And he lost them in the freeze that they had in Texas,
Oh, yes,
like
that's
last
right.
year or the year
Last
before.
year, yeah, they had two of them, I think.
And so I recently told him, I was like, well, I have tons of pups that I have, so I'm gonna mail them to you so you can kind of reclaim
That's amazing.
your collection.
So he had them in the landscape, I surmise, then? Or did
Yeah,
he
I
have
think he had it outside, or maybe even
in kind of like a greenhouse, but still got cold.
somebody.
enough.
It got a little too cold.
These are great. They're really loving it. This one has front row seat. This jade.
These are cuttings from my jade. Actually,
From this actual
this
jade,
jade, yeah. And there's another one, so it could be from that one as well. But they're both actually from an old friend of mine. She lived in her apartment on the Upper East Side for 50 years. And she went into assisted care when she was around 93. And so she had a ton of very mature plants that I inherited. And so I got this one, which I've recently kind of bonsai'd out a little bit.
Hey, it looks like it has been recently shaped.
Yeah, I did. And then I gave a little like sloth, like it's on a tree. I thought that was cute.
Yeah.
And then I have this big guy over here,
Wow, that's
which is
a
also from her
Peperomia
collection.
incana.
Yeah.
Which is flowering right now, so you can
It
see.
constantly flowers.
Yeah.
I actually cut them off sometimes just because of the pollen,
The pollen
that
that
it just
comes
gets
off,
everywhere.
Yeah, if you brush by it or you breathe on it, it starts to blow around.
No, I can even like pull it out so you can actually see just how massive it is.
Now, do you cut this at all like your jade? Or do
No.
you kind of let it just grow shrubby?
I just let it go. It was actually in a smaller pot, and I was so scared of repotting it because I did not want it to die because I give so much
Like you,
sentimentality.
yeah.
So I keep a lot of sentimentality with a lot of my plants, whether they're from people that I care for or love, and then just from places that I visited.
You know, it's one of those things too that you kind of feel like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I think a lot of folks will feel this way about their plants because they're like, well, it seems happy in the pot, so why?
Yeah.
Even though folks tell me to pot it up, it seems to be happy enough.
It was a very intimidating experience because it was in the pot that she had it in. And I think I repotted it maybe a year ago from a pot from Greenery Unlimited. She's pretty resilient, as many will know about this peperomia over other ones.
You know, and what I find about peperomia, like when you go out and you see it in the wild, it's in rock crevices, it's in like little snippets of between wood shards in the tree. So you're like, that can manage being probably a little bit of root bound. And then here's a Zero Cissios. Holy crap-a-moly. This is quite large.
Yeah, she will not stop growing. I got it as like 2 different smaller plants from Union Square a few years back, maybe longer. And it just takes over, and I don't know what I'm gonna do with it as it just keeps climbing. I'll just keep winding it around more and more.
Yeah, you almost like need a thing that goes up and around.
For real.
And then here's a gorgeous euphorbia. I'm not sure what kind of species this is.
I'm not sure either.
Yeah.
And it's actually in a pot that I made. I started doing ceramics in May, and I've kept up with that continuously. That's
beautiful. So you get to really create everything that you kind of envisioned for this space, which is fun.
Yeah, I've really taken to it. It's been a nice just escape as far as like you're not sitting around the apartment as much. You're like, you have something productive you can go and do and get off your phone, because it's a little hard to be texting when your hands are covered in like mud.
Where do you go in the city to?
I go to in Astoria. It's called Alterworks. It's about a 10-15 minute walk from here, so it's not too bad.
Fantastic. And then you have your Dracaena, which I didn't necessarily mean to like just pass by, but.
No, she
very
is,
sculptural.
Yeah, I pruned back that one as well. I like her a little more sparse because I like the curves that are created. It's technically been mine longer, but we got it together when we went to IKEA. So it started as like a really tiny plant, and we named her Coco from like Foster's Home from Imaginary Friends.
Oh my goodness.
If you've seen it, then you would know.
I don't know these references.
No, it's a bit of a deep dive. And it started out really small, and we like jokingly called it like our love fern, even though it's not a fern, obviously.
And I didn't mean to pass this by, but you have a beautiful monstera that's right here in the corner, and it has a nice new leaf unfurling.
It's too bad you weren't here a few months ago, because it was massive. I actually had 3 different stems with it, and I knew it needed to be repotted, and I was like, I can't get a bigger pot. And so I chopped her up and gave them to a bunch of friends. And I kept that one, so I'm at least grateful that a new leaf has started growing out instead of just being like stunted for a while.
Well, it looks great. I mean, I have to say, it's nice to see one that doesn't have dust on it, because I've been in renovation mode, and like mine is like completely, has like a thin layer of drywall dust. So it's nice to see one that's new and shiny.
Yeah, no, I'm constantly cleaning around here, especially with a drooly dog.
And then here we have some that are real and some that are fake.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's a boob cactus and a boob planter from Nicoware in Portland.
I love that. Yes, I got 2 of these boob planters myself.
Yeah, next to it I have one of my more exotic looking plants that I got from Hot Cactus LA. I went to their warehouse sale. I didn't travel for it. I just happened to be in LA and...
But is this one of your pots too? Or
no,
okay, that's a beautiful pot.
Yeah, I got that one in the Victorian, I think, in Georgia.
In Georgia?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
They have a great shop.
So what is this plant? It's so alien.
So it is grafted from a, what is it, Portacalera, I can't think of what the name is. It's a bush plant from Africa.
I mean, look at the white stem, and then it has these like funky little dots on it. I mean, it looks so Dr. Seuss-ish.
I love it.
Yeah.
And it's grown a lot, and last year it lost a lot of the green during kind of more probably the dormancy stage, and I was like, I don't know if it's going to sprout out there or if it's going to be bare and then just keep growing up.
Yeah.
So luckily it's kind of fleshed back out.
Do you have any bedroom plants?
I do.
Yeah, let's go see them. I
definitely have a bit of a Sansevieria collection in here. these two, so this one here, and then next to the dresser, another bunch of plants I got from Ohio, from
And
a
that's
nursery
where you're
there.
originally from, or?
No, my sister just lived there for
Okay.
like a decade. I'm actually originally from Texas.
Okay. Wow, look at, it just goes to show you, this is a modest sized pot for how tall this snake plant is.
And it definitely has grown a ton. All the curly leaves are like
Yeah.
the original leaves that I bought it as.
Oh, and you have like a little monkey tail. That's funky.
Yeah, that's actually, I made the pot specifically with the monkey tail in mind, which
Yes,
obviously.
and so you had this, you have another pot just like this that we just were filming too.
So I made 2 of them, and it's a little small. I'm gonna have to make a larger one for it.
And then, is there like any kind of drainage in this, or how did you make this?
I mean, it does have drainage.
Yeah.
I made a hole in it.
Oh yeah.
But it does make a bit of a mess if I just water from here, obviously.
Right.
So I usually go to the sink and let it finish dripping off and then bring it back.
This one's funky. I'm not familiar with this one either.
Yeah, it is a winter grower. And I got it at Tula.
I was actually just at their shop, but hadn't seen this one there.
It's a Tylicona something. I mean, I have the little stick.
Tylicodon? Buchalzianus. I have no idea.
We'll go with that.
But Tylicodon I recognize as a species. The Astrophytum here, so beautiful. Even your Tillandsias. Gorgeous, and a little euphorbia here.
Obesa.
Yeah.
And so agave perii, and then the Kishokan on the other side.
Right, so this is one of the ones that you had as like a pup?
Yeah.
Yep.
And there's also another one on the other side too, so I definitely have enough.
Oh my goodness, yes. Look, and this one's already pupping out as well.
Yeah, and definitely needs repotted, so.
Yeah. And this is one of those rainbow cacti, right?
Yeah.
Is it Echinocerius?
Echinocerius?
Echinocerius, yeah.
Yeah. I have 2 of them, but they're different, I think.
Yeah, they look different, don't they?
Yeah, I don't know if it is like a hybrid of some sort. I like, anytime I try to get a reverse image, it does not yield anything.
And some Haworthias down here. Oh, and I love these really fat bat snake plants.
Oh, I love it. And it recently
So
popped in.
firm.
I didn't realize it for a while.
And then, of course, your little friendship plant over here.
Yeah, I just let her go kind of wild.
And really a beautiful, outstanding collection of pottery.
Thank you.
I love the choices that you've created in here. It just gives it like a really earthy feel while still being modern and in the city.
I definitely prioritize pottery. So I definitely spend probably as much or more on the pottery for the plants, and I love supporting small makers.
Me too.
And so I'll either buy them on like their websites, or I'll buy them in the shops that might be supporting them in the city or wherever I'm visiting. And I think that's really what made me want to get into pottery, is just like loving and appreciating ceramics so much from others, and I wanted to see if I could do it myself.
Well, and you know, and now you can appreciate it even that much more.
Oh yeah, it is definitely a humbling hobby and career if you choose it to be.
Do you sell any of your plant pots, or you haven't?
Not yet.
I
haven't reached that point yet.
He only makes them for himself.
I'm still in that very like, I don't know, tender stage of learning and not feeling so confident in what my voice is quite yet. But I've been having fun exploring that.
Well, take the time to explore. I think we come under the misunderstanding that everything that we love needs to be a profession, and it really doesn't. You know, it could also just be something that you really love as a hobby. Keep tuned here, because we have so many more tours, tips, and trips around the bend. And in the meantime, check out our online houseplant courses and digital downloads at homesteadbrooklyn.com. And if you have a chance, our sister channel over at Flock Finger Lakes. See you in the next video.